205-545-9950. 545-9950. Boomer says, turn the stream back on. Oh, well, we won't have hour 2 on YouTube today. What's going on with Boomer? What's Boomer doing all
I
this
don't know, but
complaining
Boomer,
for
if you can
today?
do the job better, get your butt up here. How about that?
Boomer, do we need a Midol? What's going on here? Is Boomer having a bad day?
Doing the best I can. If it's not good enough for you, Boomer, then fine. You owe me 2 lunches on Monday.
That the stream's going, so I don't know what Boomer's talking about.
Yeah, it was the first break.
Oh, well, sometimes here's the thing, y'all. Like if the YouTube, first of all, the YouTube stuff's still fairly new, and so there's some bugs that's got to be worked out. But if the YouTube stream ever cuts off, just refresh. It's gonna come back. These things happen. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. I mean, if we rewind two months ago, y'all didn't even have YouTube, and your life went on. Okay, I know the YouTube's cool, but just work with us, cuz. Just keep an eye. It's one button, that refresh button, a little circle at the top of your deal there. Just hit that. It'll be back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. All right, 205-545. And yes, Boomer, you'll have 2 lunches now. I actually just knock them both out Monday, do lunch and dinner.
There we go.
205-545. Or you could do lunch and make a second order that John Burke can get a to-go plate and take home with him.
Done
deal. Done deal. Tony got his Tony with a typo says he got his Job Bone Jam tickets. He's going to the wrong concert. No, he means Jawbone Jam. Good job. Let's see what else. More people saying that got their tickets. Walter, who's always complaining on the text line, says, amazing. You explained the YouTube thing about 300 times. Are y'all trying to ruin Fun King Friday? What is going on here?
I know. I mean, you have to realize there are millions of people listening, and they're constantly coming in and out.
I know. People love to tell us how to do our job. They just love doing that. No, yes. The people tune in and tune out all day, so I have to explain things multiple times in order for people to hear it. Not everybody, like Walter, gets to sit here for 4 hours and listen to the entire show. Some people are working. Some people are in and out of the car. Come on. I've been doing this for a while. I know what I'm doing, okay? Okay. Good Lord. I'm getting cranky. I'm detoxing off the damn energy drinks. That's what's happening.
Yep.
Should have brought another one today.
No. Don't go down that path. It leads to ruin it. My God, he's passed out.
Oh, my God. This is getting out of pocket. This show is going off the rails.
It is Fun King Friday, so.
It was. It's not anymore.
It's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Friday the 13th. That's the problem. That's why everybody's cranky. Because it's Friday the 13th. Anyway, let me keep going. Let me distract myself with more headlines. How about this? Former Obama advisor, David Axelrod. Does everybody remember David Axelrod? He was one of the co-conspirators in Obamacare. He played a big part during the Obama administration in getting Obamacare going. And he, ironically enough, took to Twitter 2 days ago, took to X 2 days ago, and said this. Again, one of the architects of Obamacare said, quote, through family, I heard about a couple in Wisconsin who started a small business and were planning to expand. Now, with their Affordable Care Act premiums tripled due to congressional inaction, they've had to scrap plans to expand and grow. I'm sure that scenario is repeating itself all over the U.S. And I couldn't help but think to myself, wait a minute. If we could only identify who wrote this law in the first place, you know, if does David Axelrod know that he's David Axelrod? I don't understand. Here's David Axelrod in 2009 talking about Obamacare.
I have no doubt that once this bill is passed and implemented, the American people will appreciate it, and it's going to improve the lives of people across this country who are struggling in this healthcare system today.
And now, in 2026, David Axelrod is on social media talking about how people can't afford their affordable care, Obamacare. How about that? David Axelrod and Obama lied about Obamacare. They destroyed healthcare in this country. They allowed the government to take over 1/3 of the economy. And now they're like, oh my gosh, Obamacare sucks. Who broke it? And nobody, listen, David Axelrod didn't express any remorse or any sort of disdain or worry over the fact that back when the Affordable Care Act was passed, people lost their insurance, lost the only doctors that their family, that their kids knew, and the replacement Obamacare insurance was triple the price with triple the deductible than what they were paying. It's amazing that these individuals can even come out and say these things. Like, actually, with a straight face, get out of here and be like, oh, why is Obamacare so bad? What an awful idea. And you were just a, right winger that hated poor people back then. If you predicted that Obamacare was going to be a disaster, a lot of us were in that boat, right? A lot of us back then, 2009, 2010, whenever it was that it passed, most of us were screaming from the rooftops. And I wasn't even in radio at that point, but I was shouting it. I was like, dude, I did, maybe I don't fully understand it, but I got a feeling that the simple idea that the more the government controls, the worse off it's going to be, because nothing can run a business or an industry into the ground quite like the government, that this has to be a bad idea. And guess what? It turned out to be a bad idea. Turned out to be a really bad idea, and now nobody can afford their insurance. Thank God for Trump RX. Thank God for the moves of this administration that's going to help get healthcare premiums down, because it's destroyed people. It's destroyed people financially. It's destroyed people physically, because so many people have not been able to afford to even, pay a deductible to get a procedure. They can't see their doctors. I mean, I got people in my circle that are trying to get procedures and scans and stuff like that done, and stuff that is of high importance in the hospitals. And the doctors are like, yeah, we can get you in like in April. We can get you in May, 3 months from now. Some people don't have 3 months to wait. If there's something bad going on, if there's a serious issue, 3 months is going to make a big difference. People can't wait. But what's been done for a decade and a half to our healthcare system has been so detrimental to the American public, and it is all the faults of Democrats and Barack Hussein Obama and the communists that have been behind him and that have been behind all the Democrats all along, to turn this country into a communist hellhole. And in that sense, they've done a pretty good job of it. And if they ever gain power, there'll be many other industries and many other parts of your life that they will have control over, and they will absolutely destroy. Black Betty, bam, blam, bam, blam, bam, lance. You remember Black Betty?
Bam-a-lam.
We finally released that on the show that one time, didn't we?
Yes, we
We
did.
showed the clip. It's good. It's good. It's good. I will never not think about that when I hear that song, by the way.
Yeah, I've been getting you on that for a couple of years now, 2-3 years.
Long time. Long time. Noto Roofing bringing you this part of the show and OTOroofing.com, a roofing company. You'll get in touch with my dudes. My dudes Noto out there. I talked to Chris last night, just BSing with him. And they're out there working, man. He says he's staying busy. Busy, busy, busy. But they're not too busy for you, as I always say. They got time for the Hey Now Nation to get that free roof inspection, complimentary roof tune-up. There's a few different categories of you guys, not just, whether it's your house, your barn, or your business, or your rentals, or whatever. But there's categories of those of you that have no idea if you got issues, those of you that think you might have issues, and those of you that just simply want to get a new roof. You need one, or you want a different style, or whatever it may be. If you fall in any of those categories, remember, Noto is the best roofing company out there, the ones that are going to take care of you more so than anybody else. But at the base of it, you need the free roof inspection with the complimentary roof tune-up. So call them at this number. Remember, free, no strings attached, no obligation, 848-2299. That's 205-848-2299. Online, notoroofing.com. So yesterday, several things were happening, a couple different hearings. One in particular, was it yesterday, John Bird, that we had the Pam Bondi hearing? Was that yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, so the Pam Bondi hearing was yesterday, and we played you a couple clips of that. But behind Pam Bondi, what Democrats had done is, they have the crowd behind them or whatever, had brought in a group of like 8 people. It was like 7 women and 1 dude. And these individuals claim to be Epstein victims. Not just Epstein victims, but victims that claimed their names were outed in the release of the Epstein files. And they had all matching shirts that says release the files or whatever and all of this. And so they were planted there so Democrat lawmakers, when questioning Pam Bondi, could say, are you going to turn around and apologize to the people behind you, to the victims behind you, for releasing their names? Imagine Democrats are like, you released too much. For releasing are you going to turn around and apologize to the victims for re-victimizing them? It was a big stunt. Democrats don't care about victims. We know that. That's clear, right? But the most shocking part was actually after the hearing, where MSNBC or MS Now, and I think it was Haley Jackson or whatever the dark-haired chick's name is, brings those victims who are upset that they had been named and outed in the Epstein files, that they've now been identified as victims of Epstein. She brought them to MS Now to interview them so they could say this.
I was a little embarrassed to see that she couldn't say sorry to us, because she sat there in the beginning, she said sorry for what Jeffrey Epstein did to us, but yet she couldn't apologize what she did to us, what her department did to us, right? It's like you had one job, was to redact our names, to respect our privacy, but yet you carefully took the time to redact all these powerful, rich men. So, it's like, is it your department that can't keep up with, are you guys being sloppy? What's going on here? It's what we wonder every day. Yep. Where did it go wrong? And then I think we all realize now, oh, you guys really wanted to silence us. And you thought that you could scare us by putting our names out there.
Okay, let me get this straight. Did she really just say you had one job to redact our names and protect our identity during an interview on national television? You had your identity protected, so you went on national TV to talk about it. And I'm not trying to victim shame here or anything of the sort. But it's obvious these are plants. And I even questioned whether or not these individuals were actually in the Epstein files because I cannot trust Democrats. So I started looking into it. And I said, who are these individuals? And who's the guy? Did he get victimized by Epstein as well? There was one guy in the group. And as I'm looking them up, they seem to have, some sort of relation to the Epstein files as victims or whatever, or claims of being victims. I don't know that it's been proven, but this is just what I saw. And all of them, when you look them up, when they claim that they were assaulted or sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, they were all between the ages of 21 and 26. Not that that makes sex trafficking okay, obviously, but they seem to be adults at the time that these crimes were committed. Yet that's not what the media is painting them to be. They want you to believe that these are adults, that as children they were taken advantage of. And it turns out the dude that was in the group is the brother of who actually was a victim as being an underage girl, which was Virginia Guffrey. That was her brother, apparently, in the group. But it just struck me as bizarre. And this is not a defense of Pam Bondi, but it's to highlight how much of a sham a lot of these hearings are. And the Democrats drug these individuals out, victims or not. If they are victims, it makes it even more heinous that they drug them out to use them as political pawns in a hearing with the attorney general to stand them up. And that's what they did. They had them stand up behind Pam Bondi, and they were like, Pam Bondi, you apologize to these victims for releasing their names. Oh, I'm sorry. We had 3 million pages to go through, and then you passed a law and says you got to release them now. What'd you expect to happen? And there's a lot of people, and this in particular shows you kind of where a lot of people are at. They don't care whether names are redacted or not. A lot of people don't even want names redacted, which again goes back to not really caring about the victims. The vast majority of the public had been propagandized to believe that this was just a matter of clicking a button and releasing the files. And that the only reason that the files could not be released is because people were being protected. When in reality, you had a stack of files that were, if stacked on top of each other, were 10 times taller than the Statue of Liberty, or whatever that stat was. It's a lot of files, dude. And there's still a lot of grand jury transcripts and everything else that are being held up in court, and all of it will be released. And as I stated, before any of it was released, I said, when it does come out, people are not going to be satisfied. This is the general public is getting played on the Epstein file deal. Do we all want it? Have we all demanded it come out at one time and powerful people be held accountable? Yes. And some, in fact, are being held to accountable to an extent in governments, different governments across the world. But it's not going to be what people want. It's just not. That's the reality of it. It's not going to have the black book. It's not going to have the client list. It's not going to have, the videos of Bill Gates getting an STD from Russian girls. It's not going to be in there. I mean, it's not. I think, there's still things that where I'm like, I hear credible people saying that, take Dan Bongino, for instance. Dan Bongino says, everything I've got shows me that Jeffrey Epstein did, in fact, kill himself. I personally, I respect and believe Dan Bongino, but I still have a hard time believing that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There's too many coincidences there for me to believe that. But in other aspects where they say, this is what we've got. We've got this, we've got that. This is the information that we have. Sometimes you got to take some of them's word. I'm not telling you to take Pam Bondi's word or Kash Patel's word, but some of them you kind of got to. You really don't have a choice. But I still believe that there was a honeypot operation that was being run by Jeffrey Epstein, maybe at the behest of a foreign government. And that's what leads people to believe, and rightfully so, that there are client list and or videotapes that are floating out there somewhere. Because if you're running a honeypot operation, you got to have physical evidence of people doing bad things in order to use it as blackmail, unless there was some other kind of blackmail. Also, Jeffrey Epstein had everything he could ever need at his disposal, including some sort of kill switch if something were to happen to him. So who's to say that the evidence didn't exist? Maybe it did, and it was destroyed before people could get their hands on it. I don't know. Hour number 3 next.